This is the CitizenLink Report.
If you find our insights helpful, would you support our video efforts? Your gift of $25 or more goes a long ways. Covers the crew, lights, cameras, all that. Just click on Donate. Thanks from all of us.
They're talking about comprehensive immigration reform on Capitol Hill. What would a good bill look like? This is the CitizenLink Report. I'm Stuart Shepard, along with our Executive Director, Tom Minnery. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Stuart.
We have both been a little bit under the weather, but we're going to give it our best shot today.
Yeah, we are indeed.
So if we have to stop and hack now and then, we hope you'll forgive us. I don't think it's contagious through a computer. Tom, this is a difficult issue. Whenever anyone stakes out a position on it, there are always plenty of folks who will take a shot at him or her for that. But we have a bipartisan group of lawmakers who've come together and put out some ideas. Tell us what they're considering and where we are in the process.
Well, obviously, it's this controversial issue of immigration reform, and one gets a sense that this is a very critical time in that issue. The question is whether it's going to be subject of endless political demagoguery like it has been for the last few years, or whether something's really going to happen. And a bipartisan group of 6 senators has come forward, and they have put together a plan. And the spokesman for the group is a Republican, a Cuban immigrant, son of Cuban immigrants, Marco Rubio, senator from Florida, who has taken the lead on it. And it's quite interesting. I think that we have seen some elements in that plan that will draw some more widespread support than we have seen on immigration reform. For example, I was a little surprised at the tough language in the framework that they released earlier this week. It's not the bill itself, and of course when we won't know the details until we see the actual bill being written, but this is the framework, and the framework says if you're here illegally and you want to make it right, you've got to come out of the shadows, admit your guilt, pay a fine, make restitution, and then get in the back of the line. So there is no preferential treatment for what you have done that puts you ahead of anyone who has done it the right way. For a group of bipartisan senators to say something like that strikes me as a pretty strong language. And I think that, as I say, will get some support that it might not otherwise have gotten.
Now, and on this issue, there are those who say just amnesty. We'll just let them become part of society here. Others who are saying we should build a wall on the border and just shut everything down. With this being somewhere in between those two extremes, will conservatives in particular get behind it?
Well, again, we'll see when the details come forward in the actual bill. But this has an interesting aspect to it that I have not heard before, and that is this. They propose that there'll be a commission created with border state governors on it to oversee the security of the border and to advise the federal government on when those governors think the border is secure enough that the rest of it can go forward. See, that is the first thing. Secure the border so that those who want to sneak across in advance of this coming law to be here to take advantage of it, they won't get a chance to do that. I don't know that I've ever seen that in a proposal before. And we'll see what the teeth that commission has in it and what comes out of that. But there are the other usual aspects of immigration reform that we've come to see in proposals over the years. One would be an e-verify system or some kind of system to be sure that employers who hire workers are hiring workers who are here legally and not illegally. That's important because that will dry up the supply of jobs for illegals. But then there is something else. There is a pillar in this framework that says jobs, visas, worker visas ought to rise and fall according to the number of jobs available. Now, that, if it is done correctly, will help a lot for this reason. The question of which low-income workers can get here legally on temporary worker visas to take factory jobs has been a political question because there are labor unions that do not want competition for non-labor, low-wage workers. Depending on where they go with this, that could be solved, and the unions might have one more source of competition for them, increase in the number of visas for temporary workers. That will unclog the lines, and that's been a tough situation. Lines have been clogged. People who want to get in line can't do it because there are been no visas available for them. And so this, if they step forward correctly on this aspect of it, it could be really strong.
All right. This is a proposal at this point, and they've kind of put out there the key points that they want to push through. If the bill, and I know we're speaking hypothetically here, but if the bill maintains the shape of that proposal, what would the chances be in the House, do you think, to get passed there?
It's surprisingly strong, I think, for this reason. Just speaking politically, Republicans got beat up bad on this issue in the elections in 2012. I don't think they want to go there again. Yeah. So from that very pragmatic standpoint, I think there'll be some support. I would like to see one thing in that legislation that I don't see emphasized in the principles, and that is family-based considerations. For example, if I get in line, if I'm a Mexican immigrant and I get in line, get a green card, become a legal permanent resident, do it the right way, it takes me 3 years before I can get my wife into the country. That doesn't seem good. It seems that families ought to stay together to stay strong. And, you know, there are 4 million wives or spouses, children, and siblings caught outside the country in this backlog of family status whereby they're trying to get in to join their breadwinner spouse who's already here and here legally, but they just can't get in. That splits up families, and we will want to be sure that that problem is taken care of.
All right. You've woven this throughout the conversation. I want to give you a chance just to summarize. What would a good bill include from your point of view, from the point of view of the organization? What would be some key points that should be in there in summary?
Justice and mercy. Justice, that if you come here illegally, you got to pay the penalty of your crime. You can't get preferential treatment. There has to be a way to work things out so your family isn't split asunder and your kids are not thrown on the welfare system. So it's that compassion part of it. But also border security, E-Verify or some kind of system to be sure that employers are hiring only legal workers. And a visa system that's based on the supply of jobs, not these political considerations. And that's essentially it. I think that the border security problem, which a lot of people are concerned about, would take care of itself largely if the supply of illegal jobs is dried up with that employer verification system, and if the visa lines are opened so that those who want to get in line can find a line that moves. Those are the outline. That's the outline of things that I think will be in any bill that proceeds to a vote.
What I'm hearing you say, coming from a Christian ministry perspective, especially working here where we're concerned about families, one of the primary concerns here is keeping families together and helping the family be strong. And another is we're not opposed to people coming to the United States. There just needs to be an orderly way for that to happen.
Right, and a fair way so that those who have done it illegally have to pay up. And I don't think it's going to be easy for people to pay restitution because these are not high-income people, and I think it's going to be costly for them to pay the penalty for their crime.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate your insights.
You're welcome.
And thank you for watching. We do appreciate hearing from you. You may always write to us at mail@citizenlink.com. And remember, stand tall and be heard.